How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's keeping well. Today we're going to have a look at a really popular song, really popular choice from the Grade 1 Trinity Rock and Pop book. It's called Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Now, this is fairly basic, this song, right? It's fairly straightforward. There's a tricky count in the middle. What's really nice about this song, if you listen to the original, the part is slightly different, but if you play what you learn for the grade piece, you can actually just repeat around it 3 times to play along with the original track. I think the loud bit in the middle might be longer on one of those repeats, but it's basically, the arrangement's quite nice. Anyway, I'll talk you through the little bits. It starts on bar number 5, where the drums come in on the verse, and you are literally playing 4 floor toms along with 4 bass drums, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 right? You repeat that whole line. Then the next line comes in, bar number 9. Now, actually, this can be a tricky bit. You're adding a snare drum to beat numbers 2 and 4. Okay, so you're already playing that, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you bring in the snare drum on beat 2. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know that when I'm teaching in lessons and I count people into that bar, it's really common and easy for people to hit the snare on the 1 instead of waiting for the 2. So as you're playing through that verse, I'll count along when we do the play along in a sec. I'll play along like this. We'll do 2, 3. When we get to the end of that line, I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So you've got to wait for that count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 before you bring that snare drum on the 2. Okay, then the 4th line down, bar number 13, we have effectively a build-up. Okay, so if you've seen some of the other videos, you'll see these build-ups. Right hand on the floor, left hand on the snare. They're super common, right? You get them in all types of music, from country music to heavy metal, right? Right hand on the floor, and you're doing this. Now this one's got some bass drums underneath, so the bass drum's keeping time. That can sometimes throw you off a little bit, so if you wanted to practice it without the bass drums on those bits, do, okay, and then you can bring them in later. And it's punctuated with a couple of crashes, so lines, bar number 13 and 14 sound like this: crash, 2 and 3 and 4 and crash, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now if you do leave the bass drums out of the build-up, still play them with the crashes, so you get that nice sound. Otherwise you get this microphone. You get this kind of crash sound on its own, which can sound a little bit there. Anyway, then we're at bar number 15, where it says instrumental refrain. Right, now this is basically a quarter note rhythm, so alternating kick and the snare, with your right hand playing on the crash cymbal. It's quite a loud bit. Can be, if you've got a real acoustic drum kit at home, this is going to deafen everybody. Okay, so be careful at practicing this for too long without earplugs in. And it's basically 4 bars of that with a slightly annoying count on the 3rd bar. If you look at this 3rd bar, we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should probably try and say that out loud before you do anything. Counting out loud is awful and feels weird, but it's really, really good for you, right? So practice it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Now what you're doing here, okay, there's a rest on beat number 4, a little quaver rest. Looks like a little 7, okay, a little quaver rest, which means you don't play anything for half a beat. So you actually have to play 1, 2, 3, 4. Now what might be nice at the beginning is to maybe play 2 snare drums going 4 and. Okay, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Because that's quite, that makes a lot of sense in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. 1, 2, 3, 4 and. Okay, now that's not what's written. I'm just suggesting that as an exercise, okay? Then when you try and play the bar that's written there, you count 1, 2, 3, and then instead of going 4 and with 2 hits, you don't hit the first one. So you say it 4 and. Okay, so you don't hit anything on the 4. 4 and. And then I would definitely try and repeat around that bar a few times so that you've got the practice of going back in to a rhythm. So we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. I think one of the hardest bits actually is going back into the next bar, doing the 4 and 1. So a lot of people struggle with getting that next rhythm in. So I'm just going to play the instrumental refrain. Okay, I'll play it relatively slowly, and I will do it twice. You have to repeat this line. Okay, and I'll give you a nice count on the third bar. So from bar 15, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and again. Second bar. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last line of the piece is exactly the same as the one you just did on bar 13. So you got the crash and build up bit again to end the piece. Okay, let's give it a try with the track, see what happens. 1, 2, 3, bar. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, bar.
A seven-nation army couldn't hold me back.
And repeat that line.
Rip it off, taking their time right behind.
Then we're going to bring in the snare. 2, 3, 4, 1.
I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget.
And repeat that line back to 9.
Through my mind behind a cigarette.
Then we go to the crash. 2, 3, 4, crash.
Coming from my eyes, just leave it alone.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And repeat.